bitches.
We got my weekly Umar update. To this week's Umar update is a little bit different. For one, Umar hasn't really done much outside of a live video he did yesterday, day before yesterday, where he was basically talking about special education again, basically giving the same. If you've heard him talk about special education before, it's the same. He just regurgitated the exact same points he always make. Which I'll be honest, many of them were not incorrect. It's like, what is this? Like, we've heard this before. There's no new information here. And you're still not willing to talk about the school, which is what most people are actually looking for. So I'm kind of going to take my Umar update a little different this week. In the Umar Sector, which is, I guess, what they call like the group of people who make videos for and against Umar or et cetera. You have a couple of people that have had some weird, I don't know what you want to call it, a YouTube beef or what, but so I told y'all about Shakiram Ra, who was in the paperwork for Umar's lawsuit. I told y'all about him last week. He got the Amin Ra University and all of that. Well, him and another YouTuber, Lennon, who makes videos about Umar's scams and that type of thing, they've been kind of going back and forth. Shakiram Ra supports Umar, Lennon does not. And it basically has gotten to the point where Shakiram Ra doxed Lennon and kind of put out a lot of his personal information, showed this man's house, etc. Basically was making fun of him, I guess, because the house or whatever, the picture of the house that they showed, it was a little run down and whatnot. So I don't know what that has to do with anything, but I then saw a dude named CD Fury. He usually puts out like videos about conspiracy people or people who have been kind of like charlatans in the community, but now he titled his video Shakiram Ra versus Lennon, and he was basically coming under the auspices that he was trying to bring them together. But basically it ended up turning into him and Shakiram Ra arguing with arguing with people who are against Umar, and basically just trying to like demean Lennon as a man. And watching this kind of back and forth has kind of just, I heard a lot of different things going around, and they were calling, Shakiram Ra was calling, people were calling Shakiram Ra a hater on Lennon, and they were calling Lennon a hater on Umar. And basically, their conversation kind of sparked me into these thoughts around just, I want to kind of break down, I'm a person that believes that words have meaning and we got to stop placing false meanings on words. So I want to kind of give my thoughts from this perspective. First, hating versus honest criticism. Hating is when you are criticizing or putting down somebody out of jealousy. It comes from the term player hating, which is when you see somebody who is very affluent with the women, or they get a lot of ladies, and you go out of your way to demean them or do something to prevent them or make them look bad so that you feel better because they're getting all of the girls that you want. That's where it originates from. And basically it comes from a place of jealousy. We got to stop calling people haters because they call out something and they have an honest critique of something. I watched pretty much every Lennon video he's done on Umar. I've also took the time to watch his videos that he hasn't done on Umar. What I'm seeing Lennon do, and most people do, now you have a sect out there that's just, they're trolling, you could tell that they are latching on to Umar's name or whatever just to get clout or views or whatever, because when you look at their page, it's nothing. Like the first video they do is Umar, and every other video is Umar. So you could tell that they're not maybe genuinely coming with honest critique. They're more just trying to capitalize off it, and they're pretty much hating on that man because they see a way to make themselves some money. That would be hating to me. If you're honestly criticizing something and you have factual evidence and you're doing this from a place of not trying to demean the person as a person, but calling out critiques to their public behaviors or actions. To me, there's a huge distinction, and we got to start making it in this YouTube world before it goes like off the rails, because to me, I see it, somebody's going to end up getting hurt behind like this hating. levy honest criticisms. Like, we open up our comment section to anybody and everybody. We don't block comments. We don't delete comments. We've had people that support us. We've also had people that have levied honest criticism. Like, they might have put the word yarn. Okay, to me, I look at it as an honest criticism. If you were bored and you were the one person bored, let me look into that show, see what we might have done that may have lost you. But I don't take it as you're hating, because you're not saying anything about me as a man. You're critiquing my public act or behavior that I'm putting out there for critique. That's what we do on YouTube. Whoever you are, no matter what your content is, you're doing it for attention, like we've said before. So once you get that attention, be open to the criticism. But what we should not be doing is, like, I'm watching a lot of people in general, and it's not just in the Umar sector, it's in across the board on the internet, where people are like literally hating on people. Criticize something, yes. Like the Danny Lay and the baby situation, they broke up, and I saw a million people on Twitter like praising the fact that these people broke up, not criticizing her song, which may have been offensive to them, but they used the fact that they didn't like her song Yellowbone as a like a launching point to then go in on a personal attack on this young lady because her and a man broke up. I ain't got nothing to do with your personal business unless you're putting it out there. Like, if y'all broke up, cool, that's your business. Got it. But I don't need to then celebrate that, because where's the criticism? What are you criticizing at that point? You're just taking joy in somebody's pain. I don't get that. Doxing somebody like Shakiram did, where you're putting out somebody's personal family and their home and their personal information and stuff. Like, if there's a
something different.
Like, yeah, like I can see you putting out tax information on a school entity. But I'm not even cool with people, to be honest. Like, it's in the lawsuit, so I spoke on it, but I'm not necessarily cool with people like digging into like Umar's personal, like where he lives ain't none of my business. I'm gonna laugh at it if he turned that camera around and it's dirty. That's funny. But I'm not gonna, wherever he chooses to live is his business, and it ain't for my place to sit there and dig up that information. He showed that so it was available, but I'm not gonna go out of my way to go find this man's address and look at his house and then display that on the internet for everybody else, which opens him up to random people coming up trying to hurt him. Like, that's a different, I feel like that takes it to a different place, and it's getting ugly out here. It's just not cool. And the second thing I was thinking, I heard a lot of them talking about in this chat was scamming, as far as Umar taking donations in for this school that he's promised and not delivering on that. And they were equating it to people like Lennon who are making money off of super chats and monetizing their YouTube channel or getting brand deals, et cetera, et cetera. People who make content on YouTube, you run a very, very, very risky line when you start calling other YouTubers scammers for getting donations for their YouTube content. That is a product or a service they are rendering, and all their supporters are doing are giving them money for that product and service. It's tangible. You can see it. Their supporters usually have some type of say-so because they're a member or they're donating so much where the person who's the creator kind of takes their input in a little bit when they're creating their content. So like, there's a give and take there. There's both parties are receiving something in the process. I want to make it clear that when we're talking about scamming, we're talking about somebody who is promising a service or product for a amount of money and then not delivering that product or service. It's like if I say,
when you get that money.
Right, like with Umar's situation, I want to be clear to Umar supporters, the reason he is getting criticism is not because of his rhetoric necessarily. Like, most people, if they don't like what he has to say, they'll just turn him off. He is receiving criticism because he's promised the school since 2009, and he's taken donations for such, and he's committed very tangible like crimes there. Like, he's a charitable organization. He's registered as a charitable organization and is underreporting taxes and not being transparent financially with the people who have donated. I'm not talking about somebody who out in West Bubblefuck and they just started making videos on Umar, but they've never supported, they've never donated. I'm talking about people who have actually taken the time and their hard-earned money, whatever it is, to donate. He says he's going to give financial transparency for that donation, and then they never receive it. Froster signed up for the Loyal Donors Program. He never let him into the WhatsApp group as promised, and he's still saying that he's going to do that, but he never got in. And there's a bunch of other people out there who have given their money, myself included, that never received basic financial transparency. I don't have to know that, like a detailed itemized description of I bought this amount of nails, but I should, as a person who has invested into this charitable organization, I should have a basic outline of this is where the funds have went, this is the timeline for this money to be spent, etc. That's what you can get from any charitable organization. Like, that's just part of what their registration requires them to do. Umar hasn't done that. That's why he's getting criticism. Umar's getting criticism because he's displaying a school that constantly looks like none of the work that he's taken donations for has been done to said school. And he's continuously pushed the date for that school back without giving any of the people who've donated the basic services that he promised. If he doesn't promise these things, there's no scam there. Because then you just have people donating because they believe in whatever his rhetoric is or whatever his speeches are. That's fine. But don't have people paying for a book and they get back a document that is not cited, not peer-reviewed, and you're calling it a scholarly journal, and then half the book is notes pages. That's a scam. You are getting over on the investor because you're not following through on what they paid for. Like Uncle said earlier, return on investment. There is no return on this investment. That's where it's a scam. YouTubers, if you're going to criticize another YouTuber and say that they're scamming because they're receiving donations for their content, that's exactly what the money is. That's why people are giving the money, because they appreciate the content and they want to see more of it. What happens when your channel gets monetized? What happens when you are having a live and people are giving you super chats? Are you then a scammer? Like, we got to be careful that, like, when we are small time and we have not reached the level of maybe a bigger content creator, we got to be careful about calling them a scammer for doing the same thing that we are trying to grow our channels to be one day. I really just want to
be a hypocrite.
Yes, that crab in a barrel mentality of I'm not there yet, so I'm gonna try to tear you down so I can get there. Like, there's plenty of YouTubers that I don't agree with their content. I choose not to watch, and I don't donate to that content because that product I don't want to buy. Just like when I go to the store, I like certain brands of chips. I don't like others. So I buy the ones I like and leave the other ones on the shelf. Somebody who likes those will go support that. If you are an Umar supporter and you're donating for the fact of you want to hear him speak more, he does that. He delivers on speeches. I would say that he speaks regularly. Cool, support that. You believe in his message and you just feel good about it. Cool, support that. He's giving you a tangible, like, return there. But don't tell me that's not a scam if you're promising a school and the school never happens. And when anyone asks you about it, you not only don't give any answers, you get angry and then launch ad hominem attacks. This is where the criticisms are coming from. These are legit criticisms, not a hating thing. Like, nobody's jealous of Umar. Like, if anything, most people that I've come into contact with in this sector have no issue with him speaking his speech or talking whatever. It's everybody I've seen's issue is his lack of follow through on the tangible products that he is promoting and then taking money for it and not giving. So I just kind of wanted to just give that PSA to the Umar sector in specific, because I see a lot of that where they're turning each other down. And regardless of what side of the fence you stand on, whether you believe in Umar school and you think it's going to happen, whether you believe it's a scam like I do and you don't think it's ever going to happen, you think he's ripping people off for their money, levy those honest criticisms without demeaning the person as a man or as a woman. Like, those ad hominem ways of, well, you're a scammer, that's an attack on somebody. And that's a heavy, like, you need to have a burden of proof if you're going to call somebody a scammer. What exactly are they doing that they're not following through on after taking the money? Because I can't see it from most of the people. No matter who I've heard say it, whether I've heard a Umar supporter saying that about a detractor, or whether I've heard a detractor of Umar's saying that about somebody who makes videos in support of Umar. They're all trying to build their content. They're all making content on a platform where they're trying to eventually get money, or they are currently earning money from it. How is any one of those different than the other? Y'all are both making content and people are paying you for said content. That's what we're here for. That's why we're doing what we do. So we got to get out of that mentality. I just wanted to put that out there. It's been like, it really bothered me to see that. Like, I can deal with anything else, and I'm going to keep on supporting Lennon personally because I enjoy his content. It's enjoyable. It's fun. I enjoy the community that's built in his, like, that's what I choose to do, and I'm going to keep supporting it. If you enjoy Shakiram Ra or CD Fury or anybody else that goes against that, support them. Give your money to that content if that's what's feeding you. But don't call each other scammers, because YouTube creators, we're not scamming. We're providing tangible products. Now, if you have a school that is not delivering on its promise, I'm in Raw University, then that's when the scam comes in, and people can levy those direct and tangible criticisms at you. That makes sense about that. But let's not go into people's personal lives. I don't want to see anybody go into Shakiram Ra's personal life and draw his personal business. Like, criticize the product that he scammed you on. Criticize that, but don't criticize him for whatever else if he hasn't put that out there. Now, if he puts a certain image out there or a message out there, then cool. You're a public figure. Like, if I'm out here saying, hey, be a great father, and then I'm also putting out information that directly contradicts that. I'm telling you, hey, I've never seen my son, or I'm never with my child. Criticize it. I'm putting it out there. But don't like go into somebody's personal life to find it. Like, every criticism I've personally heard of Umar has been directly related to a video or a conversation that he's put out into the public arena for public consumption. So it's fair. It's fair use. It's fair game. But let's not start going into doxing people and like looking up shit about people and putting people's houses on online and stuff, because that's when it becomes dangerous. Somebody's going to get killed behind this because you're going to have some crazy nut that goes to somebody's house and like, I hate them, and they're going to be mentally unstable and they're going to try to hurt that person. And then that's when it goes up too far. And then everybody's going to be looking like, oh man, I feel so bad. But like, let's not get to that point. That's all I had to say on the gas.
If you make YouTube content and you're telling someone that another YouTuber is a scammer, and you also receive money for content also, then don't that make you a scammer also?
That's my point. Like, how are you going to criticize that and you're doing it?
You want to make money.
It's like me saying, I hate people that use Zoom as we sit here on Zoom. Like, what?
This my thing. But the whole thing. It's one thing when it comes to we just Jones and we joking back and forth. Hi, joking. But when you take this step to display my personal information or my home, then you come into my favorite amendment, my second.
Yeah.
Because then you violate my safety and the safety of my family.
Exactly.
And I believe all men have the same mindset I have when it comes to protecting their family. They will do any and everything to protect their family.
Damn right.
So when it comes to that level of hate, I guess, or trolling, whatever people call it these days, that's taking it too far. You want us to talk about somebody's appearance? Go ahead. Everyone can see that. That's your personal appearance of how that person looks. That's your opinion. Everyone's opinions and assholes. Once again, opinions and assholes. But it's a fine line you walk between criticism and hate. Make sure you're criticizing with an open mind, not a narrow opinion. But when you hate, everything is always going to be narrow because all you see is negativity from someone else's positivity, because their positivity is killing something inside you. You always have that sick stomach face that this is some like
what Cat Williams called it. What is it? The gas face or something?
Yeah.
Like if you gotta have that face just about the presence of someone, it ain't that person, it's you. Once again, be self-aware. Look in the mirror. See what's wrong on your end. Why are you hating that person so much? What inside of you is making you just have this so much disdain for that person? Once you're aware of it, then you can do what you need to do with it. It all boils down to smell once again. Hey,
Smell yourself,
I'm always
man.
going to draw it back to that
Spell
because
yourself.
got to be self-aware before you can motivate yourself. Because if you're hating on somebody else and their progress, you haven't motivated yourself to get on your own plane to make your own progress. Get your shit up, man. Shit.
Yep.
I think
Anybody who talk about Umar, most people like I like the rhetoric. Cool, it's regurgitated over and over again on an educated platform because he knows how to articulate. Cool, and he draws followers because he knows how to articulate.
Yeah.
But don't just follow somebody because they can articulate. Follow someone because they have substance and they're about something. Follow them in totality. Don't follow me halfway. Follow me all the way. If you're gonna look at our content and be like, I fuck with them, fuck with us for everything we do. You feel me? Like we got more than just the podcast. We got the podcast, we got the stores, we got the live shows, we got everything. Fuck with us all together. If you're gonna fuck with Umar, don't fuck with the rhetoric. Look into the schools too. Look into the lack of effort. In 2009, 2021.
Exactly.
A continuous promise with continuous funds being coming in from your donors, and you don't want any federal help, so you're only getting money from your donors, but you don't want to tell anyone what's the progress of this school where the donations are supposedly going to. That's the only critique. You can look back on any of our podcast shows, and we'll continue to say we have nothing to say against nothing his rhetoric about Black people.
Nope.
Like you have a good basis. We do need change. We all know that. We all speak on that. You speak on a different level because you know how to articulate. But when it comes to your business dealings, that was the issue comes in. So that's not hate. Because we have honest questions. We're looking for honest answers on your business dealings because you're a charitable donation. You're a charitable organization, excuse me. So just like I would question any other charitable organization who is requesting donations, I'm questioning him too. That's
exactly. And I'll leave off here as far as this, and then I'll just open it up and let y'all run with it, whatever. For me, and closing on just the Umar thing for this week. For one, critical thinking, guys.
Yes.
We have to open up ourselves to critique and everything. Like, even with Lennon, I didn't just stop at the first Umar video because that was the first thing I saw from him. I went back in the backlogs and saw what else was this man talking about. Like, why does his opinion even resonate with me? Why should I care about his opinion? Is it worth my time? Does it really like when I use my logic and I break down fact, does it line up? Because again, I entered the Umar sector from a point of view of a person who has supported. I had donated before. I honestly believed in the school. Like, I still to this day think the school itself as an idea is a great idea. It's just also like, be honest with yourself. Don't ever get up into that cult mentality, guys, where you are following somebody blindly. I don't want my son following me blindly. Like, I tell him all the time, follow directions. But if a direction makes you feel uncomfortable or you don't feel that you feel it's going to harm you, be willing to speak back as long as you have evidence. If I say, hey, son, you didn't clean up this, whatever. And he said, well, yeah, I did, Dad. I don't immediately jump down his throat and say, well, no, you didn't, because I said, no. If you can logically give me the evidence, well, I did this, this, and this, cool. Because everybody can be wrong. Everybody can miss something. It's always a detail you can miss. So critically think, guys. Like, don't just take everything at face value, whether it's something you support or whether it's something that you have heard negative things about. Like, before I made an opinion on Shakiram last week, as soon as I saw his name in the docket, I went back and I started watching his videos to see, okay, like, does this line up with what I'm seeing? Let me go online and do some research. Do I see any scam? Like, are these real scam requests or is somebody just saying this about him? Like, do your research, do your due diligence. Don't just take a headline or a tagline for a video or somebody's YouTube video, even ours, at face value. Go back and research it. Go back and look at it for yourself. Make your own opinion. And then if that opinion that you form, if that information that or thought that you formulate out of your research matches that person, then go rock with it. But if it doesn't, be willing to say, you know what, this ain't adding up. And I'm not gonna rock with that. Like, we got to get out of that blind follower mentality. So critically think. 2, we got to get out of the thing of like, where we can't have a civil discourse or disagree with others without going personal. I can disagree on sports all day. I ain't got to call somebody a bitch to do that. I ain't got to call somebody out of their name to do that. I ain't got to go into, well, you don't do this at your house, and I saw your dishes were dirty all the time. And like, what does that have to do with what we arguing about is Tom Brady to go? That ain't got nothing to do with your dishes. Like, stay on topic with an argument. The first thing, my grandpa used to say, like, one of the quickest ways to tell a fool is because they go personal. They get off of the topic. They can't stay on what you're actually discussing. They want to go all over here because it's a way to divert and make them feel like they're winning the argument. You might be able to out roast me, but debate me. If you can out debate me, now we talking. If you can even just go back and forth with me and I better understand your point, even if I disagree, and you better understand mine, even if I disagree, cool. But civil discourse has to be a part of our society again, guys. And then lastly, like, use words for, like, stop using words that don't mean what you're actually talking about. Stop calling somebody a scammer when what you actually mean is they're getting donations and you mad because your channel is not blown up to get those same donations. Stop using the term hating because somebody criticized something that you did that might have had a flaw.
I got my feelings on that.
We can't keep using these words that don't mean what they actually mean. Like, there's dictionaries for a reason. There's encyclopedias for a reason. If you're not quite sure if the word that you're using is appropriate, go look up the definition. We have smart.
And use the right damn word.
That's it. Like, we got, like, I feel like those 3 things are the biggest things that keeps us back as a human race, as a society in general. Like, we could spend less time beefing if we had intellectual discourse and honest debate where we can disagree or agree to disagree. And speaking of that, I just want to shout out somebody real quick. JLM, I talked about him before, the Smoke God. I like what he does on his platform because he doesn't agree with Umar scamming, but he has a very unbiased view. He still believes in the school itself, even if he don't necessarily think Umar might be the best person to run it. He's able to bring people on his platform that vehemently disagree with everything Umar stands for and still bring them together with other people who may be full supporters of Umar. And he's able to navigate that and have them be able to talk without going off the rails. And I respect those type of platforms. Like, we got to have more of this honest dialogue where we can disagree and progress our thoughts forward, where everybody comes out on the other side more intelligent, more aware, and just more connected than disconnected. But that's all I got for this week's Umar update. Y'all can take it from there. And yeah.
Can we kill the hater word, the term hater? Because it's just like, seriously, like, hater, that's one of the words, just like nigger, just like bitch, just like every other like 4-letter word or term that people go to when they don't have nothing else.
Yes.
That's it.
It's the tool of the inept in an argument. Oh, I ain't got else to say. You a hater.
If you call me a hater, I'm gonna just think you're stupid. That's it. You don't got nothing else to come at me with. And unlike Tiz, I can still roast you. Tiz is lying. He can actually roast you. He just chooses not to because he feels that he's better than that. No, I don't feel like I'm better than that. I'm going to roast you.
I'm going to talk shit about you in a personal way, which is why I try not to get into those things, because I know me. I was one of them growing up. I wasn't really good at roasting. I was good at, oh yeah, well you got roaches at your house.
I wasn't good at roasting until I got tired of it.
Oh yeah, you don't know your daddy though. Your mama don't love you. Like I hit you where it hurt, and because of that, it's more of not that I think I'm better than that. It's just more like I don't want to inflict that pain on people because I realize that's exactly what I'm talking about. Like, I'm not talking from a place of like I ain't never done it before. I get that mentality of I'm gonna hit you where it hurt because I'm mad at you. I'd rather had a dialogue with somebody these days because I know where that's gonna go, and that's what I'm saying. Like, I know where it's gonna go. Somebody's gonna get pissed and get mad to the point where now you've offended them as a man, and now it's gonna become past a YouTube conversation. It's gonna become somebody getting hurt, and I don't want to see that. Like, it's enough of it. We done hurt ourselves.
I ain't get pissed. I'll the B1. I'll roast you. I draw for a living. I will look at you I will look at you and look at everything about you because that's how my mind is set. I look at stuff until I know how to actually go on the paper and draw it. So I'm gonna look at everything about you. You got that the skid mark of Buddha on the top of your head? I'm getting you. I'm getting you. I'm getting you, you fake 21 Savage. I am getting you today. All right, I'm done, y'all. Y'all can go ahead back at it.